Hi, Mayuri. Can you hear me?
Today. Oh, there we go, recording in progress. So my name is Kathy Bowman. I'm a University and Internship Program Manager at Catalina. Before we get started, why don't you guys all drop into the chat where you're from? Just give us your name, your location, and let's have some summer fun. How about a favorite ice cream flavor so we can start seeing what everybody's doing this summer with their ice cream choices. So I am a classic vanilla. I'll just say that at the top of this. So let's see what some of those flavors are and where everybody's dialing in from. And just a reminder on the housekeeping items, make sure your mics are muted. And we do want this to be an interactive opportunity. So please do use the chat. Not only are we looking for where you're from, oh, there you go, Santa Clara and chocolate. Love that. Let us know any questions or any comments that you have. Use the emojis, ask us anything. Lexi's got a great presentation put together for you. So we'd like to, again, be as interactive as possible. This is being recorded, so it will be posted on the Talent Board website. And please don't forget to follow Talent Board on LinkedIn. I'll put that link in the chat as we go along here. All right, Dallas in the house. Oh, butterscotch, love that. San Jose, Pittsburgh with your mint chocolate chip. That's great. San Jose, we've got a good group here. Oh, Peach, I see Peach up there. Love that too. No, Plano, Texas, and Dallas. All right, well, thank you for sharing in the chat. Don't forget, keep that going. And Lexi, I'm going to turn it over to you to get started.
Thanks, Kathy. I am dialing in from the Bay Area, San Jose, and my favorite ice cream flavor it's called Cookie Monster, and you can only get it at like the cute little like ice cream shop. And it's this blue ice cream that's so good. It kind of tastes like birthday cake, and it totally turns your mouth blue. But that's mine, and that's where I'm calling in from.
Love it.
So hi, everybody. I'm Lexy, and I am part of the university recruiting team at NVIDIA. I have been with NVIDIA for a little over 2.5 years, and the entire time I've been focused on pipelining for our 3 early talent programs at NVIDIA. So we do have 3 early talent programs. We have our internship program, our new college grad program, and our Ignite program, which is focused at first and second year students, kind of like a pre-internship program. Really, really excited to be here with you today and back this summer, and giving a few tips on how to navigate the recruiting season that is fast approaching. So I do have a bit.ly for you if you are interested in connecting with me after the event today. If you want to learn more about NVIDIA, if you are interested in sharing your resume with me and all of that great stuff. So no pressure, and I did leave the resume area blank in case that you just want to connect and don't want to drop your resume as well. So that is in the chat right there, and we will go ahead and get started into our agenda. So as I was thinking about this workshop today, there are just so many different aspects of the recruiting season, and I know it can be really stressful just kind of considering where to start. So I really tried to pick a wide range of topics, but also I wanted to nail down the areas that I received the most questions about. So I narrowed it down to these 4 areas. I know that there's a lot more that we could talk about as well, but these are the areas that I get the most questions about. So during today, we will dive into utilizing your university resources at your university, prepping for recruiting season, how to engage with recruiters, and prepping for the interview process as well. And we are going to just start off by talking about the things that you can start doing right now during the summer months. So getting involved at your university and preparing before you're even ready for your first role or internship is so, so very important. I always advise even freshmen and sophomores to be looking ahead, because your path into your respective field, whether tech, whether non-tech, it really is going to be a multi-pronged one. So what I mean by this is that you might know that you want to get into engineering or you want to get into tech or, you know, a similar field, but what do you actually want to do in this space, right? So just a few things that you can do to position yourself at university and really set yourself up for success in landing an internship are just some very practical options that we'll start off with, like choosing your classes. So as you go through your undergrad degree, you really want to start selecting courses that are aligned to the skill set that you want to build. So let's say you are looking for an internship and start noticing that there are, you know, that many of them are requesting a specific skill set. Try to incorporate those courses to get the relevant experience and try to find projects to take on so that you can speak to those experiences and those skill sets during your interviews. You can do this a few different ways, like looking at different companies' websites, their recruiting pages, see what roles are available and that you could eventually be interested in, and what skill sets they're really looking for that role. It happens a lot that students get to their sophomore or junior year and they don't have the experience and or those technical skill sets, projects, course experience needed for the roles that they're looking to apply for. So definitely be planning ahead and don't let this happen to you. And for freshmen and sophomores, if there are any on the call, I know that many internships are roles you're actually ineligible for. Sometimes they have a school year requirement or something of that nature. And if that is you, and if you are running into that issue, definitely look for different programs like immersion programs, pre-internship programs, apprenticeship programs, at these larger tech companies. So many of these larger tech companies do have these, and they are specifically designed for first and second year students to help them build their skill sets and help them learn and grow into the engineering field. So if you are unable to find opportunities like this, that's totally okay. There's other things that you're able to do, like trying to collaborate in projects at school that contribute to, you know, improving your technical skill sets for that future internship opportunity. Another thing you might often hear about is the importance of student organizations. And I love talking about student organizations. I really do think that joining student organizations are some of the best ways to get experience in your respective fields if you are unable to secure an internship. So, with design teams and major specific orgs, there's a lot of benefits and opportunities and learning experiences from upperclassmen, alumni, and so many other things to get from joining student organizations. And extra points, right, for gaining leadership experience, learning how to network, and developing stronger relationships with recruiters that a lot of these student organizations have partnerships and connections with. Some of the things that you should be thinking about, when looking to join a student organization are to find the right student organizations that can support you and your goals. So maybe that means that you are looking for career development or technical project experience. Maybe it's networking or mentorship, or maybe it's giving back to the community that's super important to you. I think it's really important to remember that not all student organizations are the same, and it might take time to find the right student organization that can support you professionally if that is your goal. If your goal is to find an organization that does support career development, I think some great things to think about and ask that organization are, what companies do they have partnerships with? What events does this org host? Do they have career development support or events or resume reviews? Are there opportunities to grow my technical skills? How is that done? If no to all of these, it's probably not the right student organization for you, just in terms of helping you grow technically or professionally or landing a job in engineering. And lastly, I do just want to emphasize to utilize your career service center. I definitely encourage you to review the opportunities available through the Career Center. Not only can you receive support in going over your resume and getting technical interviewing support, but there are other traditional events like career fairs, like tech talks, info session, and other resume reviews that companies are hosting specifically for your university and through your Career Service Center. I think something else to look out for when you are utilizing your Career Service Center is to look at these events and know the timelines, know what companies are going to be there, know when the events are, and look at the calendar ahead for throughout the year. I always think it's a smart decision to register for the events, even if you know you can't attend. They're usually still going to reach out with relevant recruiting information on how to apply, or maybe even the recording to the event. And this is usually a really, really great way to still connect with the company, still connect with a recruiter, and create that relationship and partnership, even if you are unable to attend the event. And talking a little bit about preparing for recruiting season. So there are 4 areas that I really want to dive into right here when preparing for recruiting season, and that is updating your resume and just basics on how to build your resume, the importance of utilizing LinkedIn, looking ahead and researching potential companies and roles you would like to pursue, and the importance of practicing and knowing your elevator pitch. So let's talk resumes. Resumes are really often a daunting task. So I want to break it down to the very basics and just talk about how you should set up your resume. So at the very basics, we recommend 1 to 2 pages. You shouldn't really need more than that unless you're in a PhD program or research program and you have publications or research published or things like that. Even as a professional, you should really try to stick to that 1 to 2 pages. We often get a lot of questions about I was told it was only supposed to be 1 page and it's going to look super bad if I have more than 1 page. I do want to call out that this feels like a myth that maybe recruiters it kind of like made up to try to get students to really condense their resumes and just put the relevant information on there. But I do want to state that no, it is not a bad sign that your resume is more than 1 page. Recruiters are not going to think poorly of it. And if there is relevant information that you need to fit on your resume because it's applicable to the role that you're applying to, please put it on your resume. Don't leave it off of your resume. We want to see all of that great information. So did just want to address that. Something that seems like common sense is to list your full name and use your full name across all of your applications, your resume, and when you're registering for events and on your LinkedIn. The same goes with an email. So I always recommend having one email that you are dedicating to your resume and all of your job applications and your LinkedIn. You really wouldn't believe the amount of time that, a student would put one email on their resume, but apply with a different email. And students often actually miss out on communication from recruiters because they're not checking one or the other. So don't let that happen to you. It seems like common sense, but sometimes you're just like, you have one on your resume and then you apply with another one. So just be aware of that. A very small but very helpful tip. And next on your resume, definitely include your LinkedIn, any websites, portfolios, GitHub, make those links clickable. So recruiters and hiring managers, we are looking at them, we are clicking at them, we are going through them. They are such great additions to a resume. It really gives us an inside look at who you are, what projects you like, and just additional information that we can't get from resumes. Including a LinkedIn link is also just a really, really great way to make your application stand out, and just especially in this virtual environment. So as a recruiter, I love clicking on your LinkedIn. I love seeing your face. I love putting a name to a resume. It really just adds more humanity to the application process. So although you might think it's not relevant because it's the same information, it really does help, especially in the virtual environment. And next, I just wanted to address an objective line. So although not 100% necessary, it is really helpful for recruiters who are reviewing your resume if you know what you're looking for and what you want. So especially at a company like NVIDIA, there are just so many different roles, so many different teams, and so many different opportunities. So if you do choose to include an objective line, we really recommend including it on your resume and keeping it 1 to 2 sentences. So think of this as your mini elevator pitch to recruiters to tell them what you're looking for. So for example, a headline or an objective line could say, I am a junior at the University of Santa Cruz. I'm looking for a summer 2023 internship or new college grad role in project management or software or hardware or ASICs, whatever that is for you. So this is just a very, very brief headline or summary of who you are and what you're interested in pursuing, and can really help us understand the specific areas of interest that you have that isn't just defined by saying that you're a computer science major, right? So say if you're interested in hardware or software, or you have specific fields, really helps us as recruiters to help guide you in the right direction and to the right teams. If you are just unsure about what you're looking for, unsure what to put on your objective line, skip it. No harm, no foul, and that is totally okay. Next, under your objective line, we recommend to list your technical skills, and frameworks, languages, all of that great stuff. So I do recommend breaking them out into those areas and listing all of those in order from most experience to least experience. So in most cases, recruiters will read it from most experience to least. Not all of the time, and that's okay, but definitely important to list out those technical experiences because recruiters are looking for them. And next, you would go ahead and list your professional experience, right? So as you are highlighting your professional experience, you really want just about 3 to 4 lines to explain your project, explain what technical skills you use to achieve your goal. So for example, I recently just reviewed a resume and it said that they were a software engineer or software engineering intern at Microsoft. And under the project, or under that title, it said that they were a software engineer intern at Microsoft in the virtual program. That was all it said, and this really does nothing to show me what you did, what you achieved, what type of project you have experience working on, what your interest is, or any of the technical skills, languages, or frameworks that you used, or anything about your experience. So did just want to call that out, that is not helpful for recruiters or hiring managers. When explaining your project, I think about the what, why, and how. So the what is the problem, the why is the justification, and the how is how that skill set was used in the project. This is the overall point of your resume right here, your project and professional experience. And we really need to be able to see what skill sets that you have that you know how to utilize them and what kind of scenario, what kind of project, what kind of technical setting. So it's really important that I can understand what you did in your previous role with what technologies so that I can better match you with the correct team. Also, something to call out here on resumes too, is to include your upcoming experience or upcoming internships that you're going to have. So I often see students leave those off of their resume because they think that they don't have those supporting 3 to 4 sentences, right? They haven't started their project. They don't know what they're going to be doing yet. And that's okay. It's still really helpful, really relevant for us to see that you have an upcoming internship, even if there's no supporting lines under it. So for example, it could just be a single line that says incoming software intern at NVIDIA for fall of 2020 or winter of 2023. You know, as you are going through the application process, as I'm reviewing your resume, as hiring managers are reviewing your resume, and even through the interview process, you know, say that there was a technical skill set that you're still developing, you're not as proficient in, but we can see on your resume that you have an upcoming internship that you will complete before you start your internship with us, the one you're interviewing for. So that all plays into your interview and all plays into the conversation that you should be having with hiring managers as well. So wanted to call that out as just a great nugget of information. Now let's talk about if you don't have that professional experience. That's totally okay. You're in college, you are doing all of your courses, you're in student organizations, you are, you know, proactively trying to get an internship. So if this is the case, you can include your school projects that are relevant to the role that you're applying for. You can include courses that you're currently taking. You can include courses that are going to be coming up next semester or next quarter and the following as well if you have that information. Again, information is very helpful for recruiters and the hiring managers to better gauge your current knowledge by understanding your courses, your schedule, and what you have coming up as well. Also, if you're involved in any design teams or student organizations that are allowing you to utilize what you're learning in class in real-time projects, list passion projects, list, you know, projects that you're completing in your actual classes. That's all very relevant information. This helps us understand, again, where your interest lies, where your technical learning is and helps us, again, navigate you to the correct team and role. And lastly, it seems, again, like this would be common sense, but have multiple people review your resume. This can be a friend, a coworker, even the Career Service Center, and it doesn't have to be somebody that's in engineering or pursuing the same role as you. It's just a really great way to make sure that your resume is readable, grammatically correct, and it makes sense, you know? Just a very, very simple and important tool. And next, I want to talk about getting active on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, or if you haven't opened it or updated it in over a year, get one and update it. Recruiters are out here trying to connect with you, trying to find you. I promise we are. So LinkedIn is so important in this day and age. And some things to keep in mind as you're updating your LinkedIn and your profile are to have a professional picture, right? Again, having a LinkedIn helps put a face to a name in a virtual setting. Include your work experience. LinkedIn should be consistent with your resume, and we definitely encourage you to upload your resume to your LinkedIn profile as well. Include all of your technical skills, languages, frameworks, technologies used, student orgs, awards, passion projects, websites, anything you would typically include on a resume. And include a headline if you can, and think of the headline like your objective line on your resume. So again, it could say a junior looking for a summer 2023 internship in data science or deep learning or machine learning, whatever that is for you. Super helpful information to let recruiters know that you're open to work and that you're looking in the timeline that you're looking for as well. Also, go ahead and turn on your open to opportunities in your settings. Let recruiters know that you are looking for roles. Again, we are trying to find you on LinkedIn. and grow your network. Follow some target companies that you're super interested in working at one day. Follow company UR pages and their normal pages and all of their supporting pages for great information on the company. And most of these larger companies and larger tech companies actually have a dedicated university recruiting LinkedIn page, and they share so much great information and content that's targeted directly to you. So most companies will have information about recruiting events outside of your university, share open roles, timelines, share about the culture, about projects, and just a lot of other great content. And follow university recruiters like me. I'm always recommending to students to connect with me on LinkedIn and follow me just because of the sheer amount of information that I post to my page regarding our programs, our events, culture, success stories, roles, and just any other information that's coming up. And research your company. So in preparation for your career fairs or your student org hosted events with company partners or any other recruiting events that you're attending, you should always be researching the company of interest before attending. So look at the company's website, their recruiting pages, see what open roles you could eventually be interested in and what skill sets they're looking for. Read up on current projects, releases, technology releases, anything like that. And also learn more about their recruiting timelines and process via the website so that you know what the program entails and when open roles will open, Also look at the current open roles. I know I said this before, but it's so important to look ahead at roles to make sure that the company has roles that you're interested in, and again, to align your courses and technical projects. So start formulating questions while you're doing your research so that when you start interacting with these companies via a recruiter, via a career fair, a LinkedIn, or even during the interview process, that you are prepared to utilize your time accordingly with them. So when you are interacting with companies at any recruiting events, we are expecting you to do a little bit of research about the company and to utilize that time with us accordingly. So a pro tip would be to avoid questions like, what does your company do? Or what roles do you have available? These are questions that you can easily find the answer to via our website. Instead, come with specific questions, specific to certain roles, or inquire about the interview process, the team, the culture, types of projects, or, the skill sets that they are looking to fill for that specific role. And my last tip in preparing for the recruiting season is to build out and practice your elevator pitch. So elevator pitches are your quit calling card or your resume objective, when you are meeting a recruiter, a manager, an engineer at any recruiting event. So think of your elevator pitches. I think that the thought of creating an elevator pitch sometimes can be really daunting, especially if you don't know where to start. So just start by answering these very, very simple questions to help you develop. So what year are you? When is your expected graduation? What type of role are you looking for? Internship, new college grad? What time frame are you looking for it to start? What types of roles are you interested in? And what types of projects or technical skills do you have in this area? So for example, my elevator pitch could be, hi, my name is Lexy, and I'm a junior with an expected graduation date of December 2023. I'm currently looking for a deep learning engineering internship for the summer of 2023, and I'm super interested in AI and robotics, or building a certain kind of models, and have experience with your technical skill sets, let's say Python and CC, through my projects at university. And I would love to know more about the teams or the opportunities that are working on these types of projects. The end product, right? It's super short, it's super sweet, but it's very informational, and it gives the recipient just enough information to guide the conversation in the most relevant direction for you. So really not that scary when you break it down into these just very, very simple questions and then put it all together. And then moving on to how to utilize your recruiter. So during the recruiting season, students are often asking me how they should be engaging with their university recruiter and how to make the most out of that relationship, which is an awesome question, right? You don't know what you don't know. You're not a recruiter. You can't see behind the scenes. So let's talk about how to utilize your recruiter in a few different situations. So let's start with reaching out via LinkedIn or engaging with recruiters via LinkedIn. I think it's super, super important to remember that when reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, that recruiters really are here to help you and help you get that job, help with advice, but we can't read your mind. So when you are reaching out on LinkedIn, reach out by saying that you're open to new opportunities and requesting reach out by saying that you're open to new opportunities and that you, let me start with what not to do. I have an example on the top of my head of what not to do. So I'm going to start with that. I recently just had somebody reach out to me saying that I'm really interested in opportunities and can you send relevant roles my way? It really just shows me as a recruiter that, you just haven't even done the minimum research about NVIDIA or even, cared to look at the open roles on our website, all of that relevant and great information that is hosted on our website. So what you should do instead is to, again, I'm not going to get off this topic, research the company, look at the open roles, apply directly to them, and then when reaching out to your recruiter, include your elevator pitch about who you are, the specific role you're interested in and applied to, and include that application ID if possible, so we can directly look it up for you. And then any specific questions that you have, either about the application, about the role, about the company, or about the interview process. You definitely want to attach your resume as well. So again, an example of that could be, hi, my name is Lexy. I just applied to the deep learning intern role for summer of 2023. I can include that ID on the application if I have it. I believe I would be a good fit for this role because of my experience in X, Y, and Z, let's say Python and C++. And my current project experience supports that in XYZ, whatever that is for you. Next, you can follow up with that direct question of either, do you have any advice on timeline to hear back on this role? Do you know next steps for this role? Will there be additional roles that are going to be opening? When will that be? So ending with a direct question and providing this information really makes it a lot easier for recruiters to engage with you a lot more quickly. And when you're engaging with recruiters at career fairs, you would definitely engage similarly. So, right, you have your mini elevator pitch, you introduce yourself, all of that great stuff we talked about earlier, mention the role that you're thinking you would be a good fit for because you did research ahead of time on that company. And remember, you want to utilize your time with that recruiter and that hiring manager efficiently. So being able to do that research before is going to allow you to have those questions ready ahead of time. For some reason, if you're just not able to do that research or you didn't know a company was going to be at a certain event, that's totally okay. Another way to navigate around that conversation would just be to mention other roles that you're actively either applying to, interviewing for, or interested in, just so that recruiter or hiring manager can better gauge what roles are available and suggest that way. Always have your resume handy with you at a career fair. It's really, really helpful to help guide that conversation and give you just relevant feedback on next steps or how I would suggest to pursue a certain internship or a certain group at NVIDIA as well. Definitely ask any other career advice that you have and next steps with the team, like when will I hear from you about this role next? Or if I don't hear from you, can I follow up with you? All super, super great questions and great ways to start that relationship with either that hiring manager, engineer, or recruiter. All very acceptable to do. And I recommend connecting with them on LinkedIn. They're probably pushing out a lot of great content like I do and information that's directly related to you. So again, always connect on LinkedIn if possible. and a few tips about how to utilize your recruiter during the interview process. So always a lot of questions on this. Once you are in the interview process, these are some of the things that I would suggest as you lean on your recruiter for help. And remember that your recruiter is a tool for you and a resource for you during the interview process. So use them to your full advantage because we're rooting for you. Some questions that you can ask to better gauge the process and expectations are to ask about the interview process and how it's going to work. How many rounds of interviews? What will the interviews entail? Are they going to be technical? How should I prepare for the interview? Your recruiter probably has really, really great insight on that team and valuable information on how to prep specifically for that team you're interviewing with, since they work so closely with that team for recruiting. And if it wasn't clear at the beginning, definitely ask the recruiter what team you're interviewing with and the names of your interviewers and the job description so that you can better prepare yourself for the interview. I always recommend
I was just going to ask, pause a second, Lexi. We have a question. Do you recommend to reach out to the recruiter after you applied?
Yes, absolutely. So I would recommend applying directly to the role and then reaching out to the recruiter with the role that you already applied to so that you are already in the system. You're giving me your mini elevator pitch. You're telling me what you applied to so I can actually go into the back end and take a look at your application and go through the process that way, because we will need you to apply directly to the role regardless. So yes, definitely apply first. Perfect. Awesome. I definitely always recommend students to always ask for the next steps or when they should be expecting an update. And I really recommend that if you don't get an update by that timeline that the recruiter laid out for you, to follow up the next day and reach out to the recruiter and request an update. And be open and honest with your recruiter. So let your recruiter know about other interviewing opportunities or timelines or any offer deadlines that you have, because we can better help manage the timeline for the hiring team and your interviews on our side. And just remember that recruiters really are here to support you, and we want you to succeed. We are completely in your corner, completely cheering you on, and we want you to get the job. So help us help you and lean on us at all times. And I think that it's super important to stay connected and maintain these relationships. So maintaining connection to recruiters, to prior teammates at previous internships is really important. And let's say that you go through the interview process and maybe you didn't get the role this time around. That's okay. We want to stay connected to you for other opportunities that pop up, or even for the next recruiting season the following year. So just because it's a not yet at one company, it doesn't mean it's a no forever. So I've seen so many students really take advantage of this relationship with your recruiter by staying connected, continuing to follow up, to send updated resumes, and land a new role either a few weeks, months, or the following year with another team. A lot of times, companies just have a finite amount of roles open. So if there aren't any other opportunities available for you at that current time, ask the recruiter when would be a good time for you to follow back up with them, and then follow through on that and maintain that relationship and connection. Super important. It will benefit you your entire career all the way through professional as well. And prepping for the interview. So I know interviews are super stressful. I know that they're a lot of work, and any tips that I can give to help ease that process, I am happy to do. So again, lean on your recruiter for help. We really are here to support you. So again, ask for all of those details like the team that you're interviewing with, the job description, and any other tips that you should know to prepare. Look at those technical skills on that job description. If they're on the job description, they're fair game. So make sure you have examples for each of them. Examples are always going to be key in the interview process. And even have examples for the skill sets that you don't have a lot of experience with yet. So What I mean by that is, can you highlight a project or a class that's coming up, or a class that you're currently in to gain more project, or a project that's coming up that will allow you to gain more experience in that specific skill set? And next, definitely research the team. So look up all of the interviewers on LinkedIn, on Google. They might have research published, they might have projects published, and just any other relevant information, or maybe a mutual connection with somebody that you're going to be interviewing with, a person, a town, an organization, a school. You never know. And what a really, really great way to stand out in the interview process, by mentioning the team's project, saying, yeah, I saw how your team had just completed this project, or is doing research on X, Y, and Z, and I found it super interesting for this reason or that. Just a really, really great way to stand out and show that you're very interested, you've done your homework, and you want the role. Definitely highlight any student organizations that you're involved in, especially at NVIDIA. We are looking for those student organizations. We think that it shows that extra initiative to go out to learn new skill sets, to supplement in areas if maybe you can't find an internship or that professional experience. Something else that would be very important as you're prepping is to have your why down. Why NVIDIA? Why, X, Y, and Z company that you're interviewing with? Why do you want to work here, and why is it important to you? So at NVIDIA, we are really looking for people that are excited about our technology, our projects, and that really want to make a difference in the world. So make it personal, make it you. Why would you make an impact at this company? And even if you don't get directly asked about this information, this is such a great nugget of information to have at the end of the interview. So say it's the end of the interview, and the interviewer asks, is there anything else you would like me to know about you? To be able to end on this note of why you think you would make an impact at this company is such a powerful way to end an interview and stand out and make a lasting impression. So always have that down. And have questions ready for the team. So I always have a list of about 3 to 5 questions. I always recommend to have a list of about 3 to 5 questions to ask at the end of the interview. So not because you're going to ask all of them, but because naturally in the interview process, a lot of questions will be answered. So you just want to make sure that you have at least one question to ask at the end of the interview. So never leave an interview without asking at least one question. And ask insightful questions. We love it when applicants are genuinely interested in knowing more about a specific role or life at NVIDIA. So what types of projects would I be working on? What does a successful intern look like on your team? What do you look for in interns? Tell me about the culture, or maybe some questions about NVIDIA's technology. I do want to note that, again, interviews can be very overwhelming. And if you get stuck on a question or get nervous or overwhelmed, know that that's okay. During the interview, don't rush it. It's definitely always a smart decision to take your time, think about the question, ask for clarification if needed, and thinking carefully about your answers are usually always going to play in your favor. So if you really are stumped on a question, ask if you can come back to the question to navigate past it. Don't let that stop you in your progress during your interview. And last but not least, practice and smile. Be you, be yourself, show your character. And I think my practice tip should be highlighted, bolded. It should probably be in bigger letters. I think this is probably the biggest fallback that I see from interns is that they don't practice interviewing. And it doesn't mean that somebody has to actually interview you, but read through all of your projects. Say them out loud, talk about them out loud in a mirror, record yourself on your phone, watch it back. It's a great way to catch things, or, if it's the first time talking about your project out loud and you stumble, it's a great way to practice and catch those mistakes. And it just makes you feel more prepared and less nervous when you know all of the content, you know all of the projects, and you know what you're going to say about them. So that's probably my biggest tip of all of them as well. And that is all I have for you. I know that is a lot of information, and the information's kind of different pockets and different bubbles, but there is just so much to share, and I wanted to share what I thought was the most important for you to hear today. So definitely willing to take on questions right now and answer anything for you. There's no question that's stupid or wrong. You don't know what you don't know. You're not a recruiter, so now is your time to definitely ask questions.
Yeah, let's have some questions. This was really good information, Lexy. Really good. I'm sure somebody's got a question for us. If you don't want to unmute, you can throw it in the chat, but we welcome any questions to come through. And don't forget to follow the talent board. I put the LinkedIn in there. And Lexy, if you want to share your LinkedIn for folks.
Yeah, my LinkedIn's on the screen right there. And then there is a bit.ly right underneath if you did want to connect further. There's an option to submit your resume if you want. Otherwise, I will be sending just more information about NVIDIA, recruiting information, and you'll just be included in kind of my future events as well. I'll send you information on that.
Perfect. Okay, we have a question. Can you talk about full-time job application timelines if we're graduating next summer, May 2023? Good question.
Yeah, so if you're graduating next summer, so again, think about when you want that role to start. So I'm assuming that you would want to start in summer of 2023. Maybe you want to take the summer off. I don't know. So maybe that's fall of 2023. So definitely keep that in mind. But I think every company is a little bit different. So this is why it is important to go to those info sessions, to connect to recruiters on LinkedIn, because we share a lot of that information. But for NVIDIA specifically, we start posting our new college grad roles for the following summer and following fall in the fall before. So we will start posting roles in September, October, November for next summer and next fall. Same goes with our internship roles for next winter, summer, and fall as well. We'll start posting those in August. And just because we start posting them around that timeline, that doesn't mean that that's the only time we're posting. After that kind of first date, we are consistently adding new roles, both on the intern side, the new college grad side consistently. So check back on company websites, check every month, every week. We are always posting new roles. So be active, be engaged. Just because you looked once doesn't mean that is it for that company.
Yeah, great advice. And I think that goes for the question that came up second for December 2022 grads. Same thing. Keep looking at those company job sites that you're looking at and see when they're posting things. If they have specific sites, set reminders to follow them, alerts. Should a master's student look for new grad roles or internships?
Master's student, I guess it depends on the company. So for our internship program, you do need to be enrolled in school and returning to school after your internship program. So if you are returning to school after your internship, you can qualify for an internship as a master's student. But if you are going to be graduating, let's say May of 2023, and you're trying to get an internship for summer of 2023, you actually wouldn't be eligible for our internship program. You would need to be looking at our new college grad program. So new college grad is for students that have graduated and not returning to school. There is a caveat to that though, because we do have new college grads start with us and then decide to do their master's while they're at NVIDIA. So that would be another case, another situation, but you would already have your full-time role then.
Great. And Lexy, I think this is specific for your company. Is it the same timeline for US and UK? Do you have UK positions?
Yeah, so UK is a little bit different. I'm not 1,000% sure on their timelines, and I think that they require, I might be incorrect, but I think that they require a full year and it's more of like a co-op. So like as part of your university, I think it's required that you like have a working internship and it goes towards your graduation. I believe that's how it works in some of the regions. I don't know if it's the UK, but their timelines may be a little bit different. And again, just continue to look online. You can filter by location, by region on our website.
Perfect. Here's a great question from Anthony. How many job recs per company do you recommend applying to? We've all seen this.
Yeah, Anthony, this is a great question. And I want to start by saying, don't just apply to a role just to apply to a role. Really look at the job, really look at the team, and make that decision for yourself if it's relevant for you, if you have those technical skill sets, if you're even interested in that path. Don't just apply to apply, but definitely apply to any and all roles that you are genuinely interested in and feel like you have the skill sets to lead up to that role as well.
Good. Let's see, they're coming in fast and furious. Referrals. How do you feel about referrals, Lexy? Does having an employee referral help?
You know, I've seen both. I think that in some cases it really helps, and in some cases it doesn't matter. So I would use every avenue that you have available to you. I would use your referral if you have it. I would apply directly, the normal way too. I would attend events like this to connect to recruiters and make sure that you have that connection as well. Like, I would use all of your avenues available to you. So I know that it's a lot of work, but it's what I would do to get into a company.
Absolutely. And I see a couple asking about, is there accounting roles, and do you have any part-time internships at your company? And I'm sure that's probably on your site.
Yeah, we don't have part-time internships, but we do have internships in all areas. So all business units have interns, HR, finance, learning and development, the diversity side, the non-tech, and all of the tech as well.
Perfect. We have one last, what is the Ignite program?
Yeah, the Ignite program is a program designed specifically for first and second year students in school. And it's basically a mini internship program. So it's a pre-internship program. There's different tracks. There's non-tech, there's engineering, there's research, there's hardware, software, everything you can think of. But it's basically to connect with those first and second year students, help them gain those relevant technical skills, experience, get them involved in NVIDIA, show them our company, show them who we are, and kind of get them invested in us early on and help build them and build their career with them. So the intention is that you would want to come back to our internship program. I know that there's a lot of opportunities out there. So we often have interns that often take another opportunity, but come back for their third internship or something like that. But yes, our Ignite program is for first and second year students. It is only open in the summer, so a little bit different than our other programs, 12 weeks long. And the application period for that opens in September and closes in October.
All right, cool. What if I'm already in one company for my internship? Do I still need to apply to this company? I am thinking that means, even though with possible return offer, not sure exactly what that means, Patrick.
Yeah. I think I know what he's asking. I actually just had a conversation with one of our interns about this. She asked, what is the process for coming back? I know I want to come back as an intern next summer, and how do I make sure that I set myself up in the best way to do that? So I think that's what you're asking, Patrick, and I think that's an amazing question and something that a lot of interns and students actually don't ask. So what I recommend doing is, even if you have an internship, you need to start having those conversations with your manager day one, or the day you want to return to that team, to that company, in your one-on-ones, in your, your sync up time with your manager or mentor. Start bringing that conversation up. Say, hey, I really love this team. I love what I get to work on. I love the experience I've gained. I love working with you. I love this company. And I want to make sure that I set myself up to return as an intern. So what do you need to see from me in order to, put myself in that best position? Have real conversations and check in on those. Have check-in points of like, hey, when should I check in and when should I get feedback on these different areas that you laid out on me? And I do want to say this, that managers are busy, mentors are busy, and sometimes they're not always thinking about it top of mind. And it's not because they don't care. It's not because they don't want you to return. Sometimes they're just busy. So being able to take that on for yourself and set time on your manager's calendar and say, hey, I wanted to talk about the future. I wanted to talk about returning, wanted to set time for that. Or in your next one-on-one, bring it up and say, if we don't have time right now to chat about it, can I set additional time? And really put your career in your own hands. Set those meetings on your manager's calendar. It's not always their responsibility to drive your career. You have to show up for yourself as well.
All right, great. Well, I'm looking at the time. So thank you everybody for joining this session. It's been great. You've got some great questions in here. Please do connect with Lexy if you want to follow up specifically with any positions that she might have or further advice, because this was a lot of great insights for everybody. We are both available if you want to follow up with us, so please do. I do want to announce, so each session we're going to have a winner of a resume review by one of our talent board members. And the winner for this session is Raja Shakar Reddy Kamula. So congratulations. You will be getting a resume review by Natalie Chalk. She's from MongoDB, and we will connect with you via email to set that time up. So all of those tips that Lexy just shared are going to be put to good use as you get a resume review and build a really good resume. Don't forget that this Thursday, we also have Through the Eyes of a Recruiter. So that's going to be your opportunity to ask more questions, get some insights, and really learn what goes on in the world of recruiting and the things that you should be doing to connect with all of us. So make sure you follow the talent board on LinkedIn. And any further questions? Nope, it looks good. Okay. Well, we appreciate everybody for spending some time with us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks, Lexy. Great info. Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.